How do you deal with people who doubt your abilities because you're blind or visually impaired? I'll discuss it coming up. Hey everyone, this is Matt. Welcome back to my channel, Blind to Billionaire. How do you deal with people who doubt your abilities because you're blind or visually impaired? That is something that I wanted to discuss with you because I come across this relatively often, and I'm sure you do too if you're blind or visually impaired. And by people doubting your abilities, I mean people who make comments such as, how can you do that when you can't see? Or something like, you can't do that, you're blind. Or something like, how do you do that when you can't see what you're doing? You know, anything like that. I'm sure if you're blind or visually impaired, you've heard people say this constantly. I hear people say it all the time. People ask me these questions, and I typically give people the same answer just about every time. And my answer to that is typically, I'm fully functioning with the exception of my vision. So some people get it, some people understand it, but then there's some people who are so closed-minded that they just can't figure it out that with the exception of my low vision, I can actually do just about everything else. So obviously there are some things that I obviously just physically cannot do because I can't see. So in some situations that's true. I just simply can't do it. But in just about everything else, every other situation, I can do just about everything that a sighted person can do. It's just I can't see. So as I've explained in some of my other videos, I do just a variety of different projects and work. And recently I've been extremely busy. So I apologize for the lack of uploading videos in the last couple weeks, but I've been extremely busy. We've been working with a couple contractors, and so today's Friday, and we actually, on Tuesday, we took on a pretty big project. Well, Monday actually, we did a pretty big project for a contractor, and then he asked if we would take on another project for Tuesday. So we came back, and what he wanted us to do was demo an entire kitchen. So it was a kitchen in a house. He wanted everything gone. All the countertops, the cabinets, the flooring, and he actually had 2 walls that he wanted removed. So he asked if we would do it. So we came back the next day on Tuesday. We got there at 8 a.m. and we left at 5 p.m. So in just, well, it took us actually 8 hours and took another hour to load the truck. But in 8 hours from start to finish, we completed the entire project. And I've had people ask, how do I do what I do? Like, how did I do that project when I couldn't see what I was doing? And my response was, I don't need vision to demo a kitchen. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Everything needs to go. So I don't exactly need to be able to see a whole lot or anything at all to be able to rip out countertops or cabinets or take down a few walls. I just need physical strength, which I feel like I have, and I have the ability to continue working. So that's what I did. So on Tuesday we did that, and so that's just one example of a situation where I've had people question me about, how can you do that when you can't see? Something else that we do, and I've talked about this in other videos, we do flooring removal. So I've done, just tons of these jobs, and again, I've had a lot of people ask, how do you do it? How can you do that when you can't see? And again, it's just like, I don't really need to be able to see to remove something. I can feel my way around, and I do these jobs with my dad actually. So he typically will help me get into the house or the property, and he'll kind of describe, this is what we're doing, this is where it is, and then he'll just leave me alone and I'll just go at it by myself. I don't need to be able to see to be able to do that stuff. I've also had people ask me, how do I go to the gym and work out and stay in shape when I can't see? Well, to me, that's just a stupid question. Anybody can stay in shape and go to the gym and work out. So the only exception to that is I can't navigate through the gym on my own. So typically when I go, I'm with Corey or somebody else who is willing to help me navigate around. And then what I do is I just have that person help me move from machine to machine or whatever I want to do that day. And then as long as I am stationary and I know what's around me, I can just do whatever I need to do. I can work out on my own. I don't need somebody there babysitting me. like I said, I'm fully functioning with the exception that I just can't see. So I think it's kind of ridiculous when people ask me how I can do certain things when I can't see. It's just it's like a deaf person, someone who's deaf. They can do just about everything else that a person who can hear can do. Just the exception is they can't hear. So, but they still communicate through sign language and written text. You know, sometimes you'll see them write something down, or they'll type on their phone and then show you the phone. You know, so there's definitely ways around it, but I think it's interesting when you're put into a situation that you lose one of your senses, but people act or people treat you as if you should just be sitting around on the couch all day doing absolutely nothing because you've lost one of your senses. It's ridiculous. So like I said, when I'm approached by people who doubt my abilities because of my lack of vision, I simply just tell them that I'm fully functioning with the exception of my vision. And some people understand that and some people don't. As for the people who don't understand that, I typically try to explain it maybe a little bit further, but if they don't understand after that, I don't really care. I don't go into too much more detail because they're just too closed-minded or narrow-minded to be able to figure it out that even someone without vision can still do quite a bit in life. So if you ever come across this situation, what do you do? How do you tell people that you still have quite a bit of talent and abilities, even though your vision might not be the greatest, or maybe you're blind or visually impaired? What do you do? What do you tell people when they doubt you? So anyway, thanks again to all of you who are my subscribers and loyal followers. I really appreciate your support. You've been great over the last 5.5 months or so since I've had my channel started. So if you haven't done so, do me a huge favor, subscribe to the channel. I'm always doing my best to bring you as much valuable content as I can, a few times per week. So thanks again for watching. I will see you again on a future video. Thanks again.